Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two with Dr. Thomas. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today?
Good
Doing
evening.
yes.
Good, 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 good. Good to see you again, friend.
It's good to
Alrighty.
be here. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Thank you. So last time we ended with what's to come for you. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I
Thanks,
remember
Elton.
you actually mentioned something about some transitioning. You're here to help facilitate the transition, I
Shut
think.
up. Yeah, yeah. It's it's one of those things, I mentioned before I do channel and you saw that and you heard that and you heard the light language that comes through. So they're like imagine you're waking up from I have kids. We have kids. Imagine, the kids are getting up in the morning and they have all this energy and they're like, "Yay, let's go, let's go, let's go." And you're like, "I want to go back to bed." Well,
Yeah.
the kids are up and they're like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." So they'll just be popping in and out as we go. Uh, but you ask a question that I myself have pondered and asked many, many times. And I kept on saying, not this, or what is it going to be this, or possibly this, or where the heck am I going? Um, or what am I doing? But there's there's a need to be an understanding of where we are. That's probably the biggest thing with who I am and what my role is, not only this time, but yet other times as well. We are in transition. We are in an era of transition, and within the era, we're in this time frame that's almost coming to an end, actually, uh, of the initial transition. If you look, it's neat. If you look and just going back to the history of things, um, let's talk about the Mayans, for example. Everyone talks about the Mayans and the Mayan calendar. December 2012 was supposed to end. No, that's not actually correct. It ended in the
The cycle.
90s. The calendar actually ended in the 90s, but it went to that time period. What what wasn't known and what researchers have gone out there and they've talked to the ancients and they've seen the texts. There was a 20-year time period where the Mayans didn't know what was going to be next. So their calendar ended in 92. 2012 is the last time they had the actual date on there because one or two things were going to happen to the world. All those prophecies we heard of was option one. But if you look into the ancient Mayan texts, and if you ask the elders and the leaders 20 years ago, were we? What are we going into? They all would say we are entering the age of co-creation, of age of new consciousness. You go into the Tibetans, you ask the ancient monks that are hidden up in the hills, and you go to the text, you ask their elders, what is this time period we have now entered or entering? They all say the same thing, whether it's Tibetan, Egyptians, all these lost civilizations, the ancient civilizations, they all say the same thing for this time period. They all say it's an age of creation, of a higher consciousness, a new consciousness. That is where we're going. But we as a species had to choose that. And we did with the harmonic convergence and everything back in the 80s, the late 80s. Now there's more to it. In the 50s, the planet itself said yes. In the 60s and 70s, we really grew, blossomed. The whole love and stuff really pushed us forward more. In the 80s, we said yes. And we then were ready, which took us off of the doomsday prophecy. Which, if you ever looked at um, the Hopi prophecy stone, you see it there, and you look at the graphics, and it shows you things that happened in the 19th, 20th century, 1900s, 20th century. It shows you things that happened. That was the Great Divide. And the one path ended because it was a path of power, greed, fear, coercion, destruction. And the other path kept going around the temple. It never ends. And what happened for us is we went through that time. So where does it come with me, where we're at, where we're going? We are in this new time, this new shift, this new energy period. And this new energy period is all about helping us transition. Imagine a record player. We all have seen them. We might not use them anymore, but we've all seen them. And the turntable goes right round and round and round and round and round. That was our expressions, our consciousness, our souls, our lives for thousands of years, hundreds of years, decades, whatever you want to call it. Every time it came back, we were answering to karma's push. Karma always pushed us where we wanted to go. And we always would go back and do cycle and repeat patterns till we learned what we were hoping to learn from it. But that all changed. That all changed in the late 80s. We, those born before that time, we came in with this karma. For us, we have to release it. All those born after that came in with none of it. But they could call some of it in based upon how they were raised and born and brought in. It can be called back. But it is no longer a relevant tool, a relevant guide, a relevant anything to where we're going. And so we were on this record player going round and round and round. And really, you think about it, you got to think about it in a multi-dimensional way. The Earth itself is its own big record player. And then on this record player are all these individual beings, their own record player, spinning around in it. So we each one of us here we were on our own turntable, on a bigger turntable. So we were going around as it's going around, and we were in this plane, and the Earth's ever going up here. Now we could go up and down based on our own evolution or individually, but we still were in this like vibrational frequency of where the Earth is. Well, now the Earth that was here, and we could go like this, wobbling, the Earth went up. And so now we are going up, but most humans are still here. We can start wobbling here and going up, but it's no longer a turntable because we're no longer going around in a cycle of a spin where we're just going to repeat the same patterns and patterns. We're no longer in that push of a karma. It's like we moved into the modern world with like our phones and our technology of having all the music we want on a computer, and we can play the different songs. So we can look back on at what was in the past. So we can call in a little karmic thing here, but we don't need it. We can repeat, but we don't have to. We can choose how we want to move forward. We now dictate the direction we want to go. No longer is it us being pushed toward we want to. We actually manifest and create the path in front of us. And we're not pushed. We have the option to free choice it. So where does this lead us, that which we are doing, the ones like me? Activate us. Opening up the individuals that are here to all of this. Because so many have already been closed to it for so long. And we have been taught to be close to it for so long that now is the time that we are here to activate and open, to bring forth not just your guides anymore, but the higher beings that are supposed to come in and to just flow you along, manifest what you want, help you become two things. The first one is to understand the love in your life. Understanding love starts with understanding what love is. You all people think it's love is quiet. Love does not boast. Love has no agenda. And love uses all of those qualities together in perfect unison. Love is what we are here to create. It is the purpose of every single soul on this planet. You all talk about these purposes. When you say the word purpose, you're actually talking about agenda. Agenda for a specific expression, the expression you're in right now. An expression is your life of this life. But the purpose for you to being here, for all of us being here, is to create unbiased love. And love is quiet. Love has no agenda. Love does not boast. It uses it together. But more than anything, if you just love yourself and you model that, how you love yourself, you will follow those three scripts perfectly. And that opens you up to who you are. We say this, but you would think, oh my goodness, it's blasphemous. But they said it and they say it. Those that come after are more powerful than thee. Every single human alive today is capable of being as any of the masters were. All we need and all you need to understand, to become a master does not mean walking on water or turning water into wine. It means finding peace everywhere you are, observing all that's around. And instead of reacting, you act with compassion. It's finding that love and that light and spreading that light out all around. Because when you spread the light out all around, those that come into your inner circle, those that come to you, they're not repelled away. They're given the love and healed. That's a different train of thought than what has been going on for thousands of years. And lastly, the masters all had this aspect too, which is very tough for people to understand. We change it to this version. They speak well of others. Originally, it was written that you do not gossip. We say you speak well of others. Because you speak as to others as you would speak as to yourself. So you see these two traits, these two different concepts, these aspects. They work hand in hand together. That is the goal. We are here now to help you transition there. And it takes time because the first steps are, can you accept and release all the past? not just your karma. Because the beauty of it all, which people need to understand, but you really don't, but we're going to explain it anyways, that it's the square root of 1% of the population. So to put it even better, think about your own family tree and ancestry. To clean and cleanse your karma and your family's karma, the ancestral karma, all of that, it takes one less than 1% of the square root of the ancestry. So that doesn't mean you need to line up every single person in your genealogy and go over and give them all healing. It means you need one, less than one. But can't really have less than one person. Okay, that's what you need. And so what we are doing is we are creating healing that is not just taking out of the person. First, the aligning, because you've got to get aligned to receive in the balance of the chakras that you're in. But then you are pulling out yours and the ancestral karma and things that are no longer serving your family, your ancestry, your lineage. And then we are opening you up to the secret. The first one is, and science will show you it's true, but they won't show you yet because they don't want to tell it, because they don't understand it, but they've all proven it. We all talk about, you talk about, you see this now, the 23andMe or these get your DNA tested to see where you're at, but they call it 23andMe, but it's really 24. Science has proven there's 24 pairs of chromosomes. However, they can't explain it. And so they discard the 24th. Even though when they put it under the right magnetic field and they look at all the chromosomes, there's 24 pairs that show up. But on the other tests, they can't see that 24th because we don't have the technology yet. But the 24th is your spiritual connection. And that is what we're activating. And then we are giving you the tools to reach that next level of
Is that
love.
is having that 24 chromosomes, is that how we're finally everybody is starting to wake up?
Yes
I
and no.
I kind of
Yes
feel
and
like
no.
it's a compilation of everything. Like
It is.
that's how I feel. Just
The waking up has been exponential since the mid 2015s. 2012 was the boom, the big push. That was a halfway point of this period, we'll call it within the era. It was a halfway point. 12 was big. Right before COVID was another explosion. So if we went from maybe beforehand, maybe 10 to 12% of the population was woken. Coming into before 2019, we got closer to 19%. Now, just a few years later, we're in the mid 20s. We're 25, 26, 27% of the population has woken up. So there was a big energetic shift. It's leading to now because now what is happening more than anything else you can see, more than you people even realize, is we are removed to so much darkness and so much low because it can't be here. We showed you the record player, and the record player went up. That's the Earth. Well, there's a lot of things down here that cannot physically go there that had to be removed. There's still some here, which keeping it there, and there's going to be a lot coming out and leaving in the next 4 years. But that began, all that began, and the science has proven it. And we spoke about this before, but the science has proven how everything shifts. Even now, they're saying again, the mag north has shifted again. What has to shift? You look at the picture behind Deanna, you see the Earth, you see the solar system. For the first time, in over 26,000 plus years, so first time since humanity has been here, we are about to enter clean space. The Milky Way has been in a cloudy space. We are entering clean space for the first time in our existence on this planet. And so that's causing a lot to happen as well. So we are waking up. We are becoming more willing to speak about it. I mean, over 80% of the population believes in reincarnation and different more expressions. 25% of the possible population has woken up. And so what's also happening is because the DNA, the 24th chromosome, all this stuff, those activations didn't come to fruition until after 2012. That's all new. But now, as more people awaken, as look at the three of us here and the people watching, you've all woken if you're watching. As more people awaken, as more people live in love, and instead of forcing their love or their dictation on others, are living it themselves and spreading it that way, others wake up. That's the simplest way of it happening. And that's why it goes this way. If we went to, let's say, a big event and a big thing and just said, wake up, it ain't gonna work. We could wake everyone up, but it doesn't mean they're not gonna fall back asleep because they need to wake up themselves. And so, even when we do these healings and the transitions and we're going through like what Deanna and I do, and there's gonna be more to it, she doesn't even know yet. What we do, shut up, Bumbiata. All we're doing is prepping the spirit, prepping the space, prepping the connection between the human and their guides and whoever's around them, and the Syrians and the blues and the whites and the golds and all of them that are in to open up that path in front of them and to make it easier to step forward, easier to find that light and that love. That is what who's talking? Okay, that is what we do. That is what he does. Now, the neat thing about it is, and she doesn't even know this yet, I don't have to be the one doing it anymore. This is not, it's not a difficult thing. It just needs to be known. And we begin to open and you give the gifts and the transition is coming. And the speed in which it takes is all up to humanity. We don't dictate that. You do. So where
That
is
is
he
it.
going? I'll
Oh,
just say we will let you find out. Um, because he can go in so many different directions and there's so many different things to do. He knows what he wants, but we'll see if it follows through. Uh, but it's a combination of it's me again. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going or how this is gonna work, what it's gonna do. Oh, it's I keep on saying I'm waiting for the tipping point, which is normally what needs to happen. Uh, and so just do what I do. And I know more is coming. And more people are going to be activated than you know. And those people are going to activate more and activate more. And we're just here to make the transition work.
Well, and I know that you and Deanna work together, so maybe we could talk a little bit about that because I feel like that's probably part of it. You know, it's a step along the path.
It's,
So what exactly, how about this? What is it that you and Deanna do together?
I just said it,
I just said do do.
dude. Um,
Yeah, I did. What is it that you guys do together? I know that you guys do a healing modality. Let's give a little bit more information. Expand on that, please.
it's what we just said. Uh,
Help people awaken.
it's, It is all the steps that we just went through. Um, but when you take one healer, you've got one healer putting out an energy. Now, yes, who the healer connects with can make a big difference in what is happening. However, when you put two together, you don't double. It's exponential by 12.
Hmm.
You add another, it goes up by another exponential mark of 12. So you don't when you bring three healers together, it's not like, oh, the energy is three times as much. It's not 36 times as much. It's the square it's exponential by 12 and exponential by 12. So take 144 and make that exponential. And so it is a drastic increase in what can be done, the energy and the healing and how it works. And so what we're going into is it's going to be imagine multiple modalities of healing happening at the same exact time. So you must imagine that you're in different dimensions at the same point. That the soul itself, and it can and it does, and it exists in multiple different ways. So when we are doing this healing, there's multiple things happening. And in the inside, in the inner healing, are gonna be the healers. That is where Diana is, and there's gonna be more with her. She doesn't know it yet, because it's gonna get bigger that way. And it's that is where that baseline healing is really happening. But is what is happening around is a quantum, galactic, high, very high frequency healing set up in a way that takes what's being done in the center sanctum and exponentially boosts it up. So a regular Reiki is no longer a regular Reiki that's going on. It is a much more powerful, deeper. Because remember, we said we are not healing you. You are healing your ancestry, your lineage, and those connected with you. And so we are not just hitting on what needs to be removed from you, but we're going through the lineage and taking it and cleaning it. And so you've got this multiple things happening exponentially. The energy has changed. And you've got these beings that are here for a purpose of this transition, of assistance, because they couldn't before the 1990s, because that was not the purpose or the goal. It was still ambiguous. But once it became clear that the Earth and humanity chose to move forward in this direction, they were allowed to come in stronger. And they first came in to clear as much as the negative load they could. And now they are here. And they're appearing and becoming for more to bring forth this healing. So you've got Deanna in the middle, in the inner circle sanctum. You've got me. He's not even part of it. He's just a round dancing fool. He's like the puppet for it all. We follow what he wants done, but we tell him what's gonna get done so that he knows what's happening so we can validate it for him. That's really what he is. He's just a validator, so he knows. Blah blah blah. We do the work. Okay. Uh, and then we work with the elements, and then we bring in who we'll call as the mother. And she brings forth gifts that we need. Now we say gifts. When we say gifts, we don't talk about the boxes that you open up the presents or you're going to be able to see your no. The gift is simple love. The gift is opening you up for the opportunities to begin to love and become a master. It takes many multiple steps, but we open you up to that. You must start somewhere, and we begin it. We'll be continuing it based on where you are in the journey, because there are many, many beings that come in during it. Because there needs to be. Because once again, we did the record player and then the little mini record players. Well, you are a mini record player and you have your two guides and then you get your higher self and then all of a sudden you've got a team of galactic beings around you that are all about this and they're there too. So it's exponential. You bring this in, all of a sudden you've got the whole conclave of people around you doing this, and they don't always have to be this. And the fairy comes in. Sometimes you got a mermaid. Sometimes it's a Bigfoot. Whatever you want it to be, you get to choose that lots of times. But they are there. We are there in a more powerful way because when we open up the 24th chromosomes as part of this process, the veil between us and you thins. The only reason there is a veil between us and you is because you wanted it. It wasn't us saying you needed it. It was you saying you wanted it. You didn't want to see us. You didn't want that close interaction with us. The ones that do, your veil is very thin. The ones that don't, it's a little thicker. But we are making it thinner so you can get it and then you can receive in the new way. That is the real trick. Because we are there already. We are already whispering and talking to you. We are already guiding you. You just don't recognize it yet because we are not the loud, overpowering voice. We are the soft, gentle, make your choice. This is what we're putting in front of you. We know this is right. You feel that it's right, but you don't know why. And soon you won't know why and you won't care. You'll still follow through with it. And that is another trick that's coming. Because we still are caught in the ego in the head, saying, oh, we must wait for this, wait for that. Can't do this. Ah, Yoroti. The veil thins. We no longer need to speak to you, those that have the spirits coming in. It will just be, you know. And you will act as if you know. And you'll make, why am I making this choice? And you'll be like, oh my goodness, wow, I can't believe that happened. And then again, you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that happened. To a point, you'll be like, my goodness, shut up, brain. This is what I need to do because this one is what feels good. And you'll be like, this is what's supposed to happen. And it happens. So what we are doing, it's that simple. I know it doesn't sound simple, but it really is.
Hmm. So then I guess the question is, how do you do it? Now that I understand the what, how do you do it?
If anybody wants to be part of it, I'll put it that. So how you ask the question, how do you do it? The first thing we want to say to you is, this is how we train you to do it. Because everyone, you can do it.
Mhm.
Uh, but see, I'm fighting with them right now, but you need a healing first. It's not a requirement, but it's more of a validation that you need. You must first understand what is happening. And that really, like, Deanna, I'll give her an example, and someone else I did a healing on in this past week. Deanna now knows they're there. So she doesn't have to be the one in the middle. she can be the one on the outside, working with them directly because she knows they're there. The other friend that I did a healing on, and the crazy part about it is, I did the healing, and then we did a meditation, and she was literally describing everything that happens. I'm like, well, I see that you're ready to do this too, um, because you know what's there, and they when they step forward to work with you, that means you can work with them, and they can do the make exponential um, work. And so, doing this healing, the starting point is just connecting with Deanna or myself, and we offer it on a
Mhm.
regular basis. But once you understand, and for some people it might take multiple, it takes a little more time. But the beings are ready to work with everyone. Um, and that's what I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say any of this, but they're saying I have to say it anyways. That was me fighting with them. I'm like, I don't want to say this, but they want me to say it. That's me just trusting what is there. Uh, yeah, I didn't know Indiana was gonna get see that, or this other person. I had no idea they were gonna see it. And also, I'm like, oh my goodness. By the way, yeah, we need to talk about that. Yeah, um, but that just means there's more that can see it, the more that can work with them, and the more we can help others. And every time we help others, remember the rule. All we need is less than 1% of the square root of the population to impact the entire area. Helping and healing the one greatly increases the overall vibration, love, and impact on the world.
So you do a healing modality, and I understand that when you do this healing modality, you're helping that person, which in turn helps everybody else. I guess what I'm asking is, tell me more about the healing modality, like what happens during it and what
Nope.
goes on.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
It is not. We shared what we will because everything else is. What goes on is multiple modalities of healing at the same time. What goes on is a lineage healing. What goes on is a releasing of all that is not for the highest good. When most people do past, not everyone, but a lot of people do past life regressions, especially in the recent years, everyone goes back to bad things that happened. Well,
Hmm.
F those bad things, they're not relevant anymore. So we take them out. We say, thank you very much, into the crystal grid you go, and we bring back the crystal grid and we replenish it because we took something out with the positive lessons that were learned throughout all your expressions. And so your DNA, which is where it's all technically stored, 90% of the DNA is actually, it's a book. It's your lineage, it's your history, it's everything's in your DNA. Now we're activating those parts and saying you don't need the death anymore. You don't need the drowning. You don't need the suffocation. You don't need the murder. You don't need any of those bad things that happen to you. They're not relevant. We've passed that on. You need that which is positive, that taught you about love, to teach, to learn, to grow, to develop. You need that in you now because that's what's relevant. That is what's going to push you forward and move you forward. And so we are truly aligning, cleansing, activating, connecting you to these, connecting you to the elements and to these very galactic, very high energy beings. and activating you, aligning to your higher self, to something that you're looking for. How it happens individually is completely different. Every time I've done it, every time we've done
Sure.
this, it has been absolutely different for the people involved.
Absolutely. I can understand
Um,
that.
but that is the overall gist. You've got
Okay.
healers going on, multiple healings, multiple areas, multiple dimensions are having to be packed. In fact, before we do it, anyone in the inner sanctum that like Deanna, she had to do something to her I haven't even told her what I do to her. She needs something done to her. Even a bystanders that's there, I have to do something to them before the thing starts, uh, because of what we do. But it can be very powerful.
I think that when we do it, I am always left with a sense of almost at first it's when it's over, when it's going on, I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever it is that I'm led to do for my part. But um the feeling afterward, it's like this really brief run of almost a melancholy. And I think that's some of that stuff just processing out. And then just a joyful peace towards the end of what we do. And we end with singing bowls, which
Mm,
really just brings the whole thing together. And it's very powerful. And for me, growing in my role as a healer and working with you, Thomas, it's really brought things up to just such a higher level than even I realized I could feel. um and that's why I'm not talking much, because you're saying it all so perfectly, and it is something that can overwhelm me emotionally if I think about it a lot, because it feels just not just strong, but right. It feels just like healing and love, and every time we are doing this, we are receiving that energy, and we are receiving healing on our own levels for whatever we need at the same time. And um it's just when it came through, and when we worked it out and when we started doing it, it's really life changing. It's really brought things to a different level, at least from my experience as a healer. And um I know that we've talked a little bit about how big it is, and that would be my interpretation of what we do. It's just something amazing, and definitely to be experienced if you're in our part of town. Because it's different than anything, and a lot of the people that we have done this with have said that this is different. And I don't know, the reactions are always very positive.
very good. Um, are you guys doing it remotely yet, or just in person when you do your?
We haven't really started doing it
Okay.
remotely yet.
Yeah, that's okay.
um
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
But I mean,
understand.
we do it monthly in person, and we also do a monthly small group um, talk and healing with and messages. Also, just because I mean, you can't not do it when you're trying. Like, and you alluded to something that made me think of walking in spirit, or leading a spirit led life, and that's where I'm striving to do right now. So wherever we end up going with this, it sounds like Thomas's guides know more about it than I do at this point, which is awesome. We'll go and we'll do this, and we'll do whatever it is. And the healing is just so necessary right now to help people adjust to all these big changes.
I would imagine, especially if you're working with DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even begin to imagine how. Yeah, that's that's amazing. That is super cool. So how are you feeling about all this, Thomas? How are you? Are you enjoying this? Are you? I know you constantly say you're verifying stuff, but how are you feeling about it all?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's Pashandana Gretor Shatia Tishitara Fumayata Karshitiarata Pojoran Shanta Fumbayata Rashitiki Chunda Karasoto Shahrashito Fumbaya Mariadrana Koreshidiata Karafumbai Shirati Itrashiti I am just Payanda Kashita Fumbayata Ki I am here. Here I am. Just like all of us up there. Just like
Okay.
all of us. There is no we are all together as one, unified in doing this. So when you ask the question and he gives the answer, it's he doesn't like the answer because the answer's not what Yeroshita from Bakira Toshitiarati, because the answer is Ayrof Bombashirati the answer. We do not for us. We do because it's what we do. And so we are happy, we are proud, we are in love with all that is happening and how it is going. He does not, in his learning, it is not about him. Because remember, love is quiet. Love has no agenda. And love does not boast. So if you even look at him, and she can say and agree, when you look at him during the event and the activities, he is not the one doing the, how do we say, selling or talking or uh, like you would see when you go to some other healings, where you've got someone that's talking it up and boasting how wonderful and beautiful and great it is. It's like the observer. He knows what's going to happen. He gets to feel the energy and be part of it. And it's a lovely thing. It's an emotional and moving thing. But it is never about him. And that is one of the toughest things that all of us, as healers and spiritual people, need to come to grips with. No matter what our gifts are, no matter what we can do, it is not about me. It's about the we, and it's about the whole.
Yes. I think
It's sorry. I think it's like you're unlearning your ego, or you need to, and I think everybody struggles with this at some point and works with this because it's how we're wired, is to let go of the ego and just allow what's happening. For me, it's let spirit lead. Let me be where I need to be and use me as you will, as a tool. And I've been saying that since my very first Reiki attunement 20 something years ago, and it's never ever changed. Just put me where I need to be, do with me what you will. This has nothing to do with me. And just allowing that to flow. And I think as people unlearn ego, we can become more cohesive as a group, and as an ascending group, or as a spirit group, is to let go of the me, like you said. And it's only a we, and it has to be that. And it's so beautiful when you can see that happening, when you can, when we are witness to many things right now. And there's chaos, it doesn't matter to us, but we are witness to so many good things happening, and we're witness to so many changes, and we're witness to so much growth. And I mean, Thomas, everything you've said tonight is just illustrating that point so eloquently, that look where we are and look how lucky we are and how blessed we are to have been the ones to choose to come. Right.
I say that all the time. It's such a great time to be alive. To be experiencing what's happening right now. It's just incredible. I'm so excited. And I agree with you. And I like the way you say that, unlearning ego. Because, yeah, that's what I say all the time. I'm just a facilitator and the disseminator. That's all I do. I just facilitate the session and disseminate. I just share the information. That's all I do,
Mhm.
and conduit. Yep. Guys, this Dr. Thomas, I want to thank you so much for being here. Um, Thank you for coming back for part two. We really appreciate that as well. I look so forward to having you on again in the future. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, if any of this resonated with you, feel free to comment below if you have any questions. If you want to get in touch with either Deanna or Dr. Thomas, they will be more than happy. There will be some links in the comment section. Comment if you want a direct link, we'll be happy to get you over there. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll put our email up there too. We can put our email.
wonderful. There you go. You can both put your email there. So there we go. Alrighty, parting words. Anybody?
Thomas, do you
Preferably
have
you,
any parting
Thomas.
words?
جرات يا خطر يا سيدي هم يان شرتيف بيا شرت دروكي بريا راشا تدي بيا راتكي manchatoki.
Thank you. Alrighty.
So nice.
Everybody, thank you
Thomas,
so much.
thank you. And I just want to say to everybody, walk in love, live in love. Listen to what he said, then go listen to it again.
Mm.
And be blessed, and we will see you again.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye.